Live from the Scripps Studios, this is 10 News.
I'm yelling. Get away from the fire.
A lifetime of memories destroyed in an instant. A family's three-story home in East County burned to the ground. Good evening. I'm Kimberly Hunt.
And I'm Steve Atkinson. It is one of 3 fires that ignited across the county today. We have team coverage of those flames, keeping firefighters busy in this heat. So let's begin with our 10 News reporter Anthony Pura in Campo, where he spoke to homeowners about the possible cause.
The homeowners think the fire started from an electrical outlet for their solar panel. They are in shock tonight. They are trying to wrap their heads around what happened. This is all that's left of their 3-story home. With the flames put out, it is easy to see nothing survived except a 30-foot chimney. For more than 2 decades, this was home for the Alkires.
It just went like that. It was like somebody was pouring gas on the fire because it just, boom, consumed the whole place.
Sky 10 flew over their house off Campo Road as the fire was ripping through the 3-story home.
We saw it and heard it.
Saw and heard the fire spark from the outside. As their walls began to burn, Ken and his wife Diane ran out with their 2 dogs.
I just went out and grabbed the garden hose, which happened to have been right outside the door.
He tried to put out the flames, but couldn't.
I'm yelling. Get away from the fire. I'm going out the back door. The windows are blowing in.
This was because the heat was so hot that it blistered my feet because I've got asphalt back there. I got a small blister there and 1st degrees over here.
The fire spread to some of the brush around the house. It burned about a ½ acre before firefighters could get it under control.
And the flames were engulfing everything. A porch he just built, the deck that just was built, all this stuff. And the car's there. Neither one of us can find keys for our cars. My car is gone.
You know, there's a lot of keepsakes and a lot of memorabilia. It can be replaced.
The homeowners are expecting help from the Red Cross. They say they also have family members they can stay with. In Campo, Anthony Pura, 10 News.
Wish them well tonight. Just to the west, in a remote area near Del Zura, Cal Fire is still battling a brush fire that started this afternoon. What's being called the Borderline Fire is now about 80 acres, only 10% containment. There are no structures that are threatened. Investigators are looking into what caused the fire.
Well, a pair of fires in University City is catching the attention of arson investigators. Both happened this afternoon, less than a mile apart. 10 News reporter Travis Rice explains what makes them suspicious.
A busy evening for fire crews in University City. Hours after a fire broke out near the coaster tracks, another one started up by the La Jolla colony.
I was like, there's a fire over there, and he's like, yeah, we see it.
Eric Jepson was leaving to go pick up his wife when he noticed the smoke.
The fire probably quadrupled in size, and then within like 10 minutes, like all these trucks were here, and they put out the fire. They had the helicopter water drops, the whole thing.
Firefighters say it burned less than 1/4 of an acre.
After the first drop, it was probably game over, and then it made 2 more drops. Like, I'm glad it made 2 more drops.
We're lucky that there is still water in the creek here.
Battalion Chief Craig Newell says they caught a break from Mother Nature, but they still threw everything at it.
Is this related at all what happened to UTC?
So the fire investigators are here. They're going to help us determine if it is related or not.
Firefighters and neighbors alike say the timing of the second one feels suspicious.
They're very similar. They're very similar in location along the train tracks. They burned very similarly also.
In University City, Travis Rice, 10 News.
All this happening on a very hot day, but a cool down from the last couple of days of blistering heat. I'm here with our meteorologist, Angelica Campos, in the 10 News Pinpoint Weather Center. We could use this cool down right now.
We need it. And thankfully tonight, no longer a heat advisory or excessive heat warning in effect, although much of the West Coast still pretty hot even for tomorrow. But for us here locally in San Diego, temperatures are already dropping about 4 degrees in our valleys, including Escondido, Poway. In San Diego, only 2 degrees cooler. We're back down in the 60s. And for tomorrow, we will average around 75 degrees near the coast. There's still a couple of 90s on the way for our inland communities, but it will be anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees cooler around the county.
Angelica, thank you. You can stay on top of any fires burning in San Diego County by going to 10news.com or the 10 News mobile app.
A new study is offering unsettling insights into officer-involved shootings in the county. The report shows between 1993 and 2017, there were 451 officer-involved shootings. More than half of those turned deadly. Nearly 2/3 of them happened within 5 minutes of officers arriving at the scene. And now District Attorney Summer Stephan is hoping to reduce those numbers. She says that 911 callers can help by providing dispatchers with good information.
What information is dispatch getting to tell the officers about the individual's mental health condition or delusions or history of substance abuse?
The study also showed most officer-involved shootings happen around midnight on Fridays.
Now to a 78-year-old grandmother charged with murder. Police say that she killed her husband with a knife inside their Oceanside home. Victor Villa was found dead inside his own home. A criminal complaint names his 78-year-old wife, Alcira, as his killer. She was arrested at the home Saturday shortly after the body was found. Neighbors say the couple has lived there for more than 20 years.
She seemed just like a regular grandma, other than maybe she would have maybe bad days. My daughter would be playing in the yard a couple years ago and she would kind of yell at them to get out of her yard, which was kind of weird. She didn't seem like angry or violent or anything.
Alcira was arraigned Monday. She's being held on $750,000 bail and is due back in court August 29th.
Well, stock car legend Dale Earnhardt Jr. and his family have been released from the hospital tonight. They survived a fiery plane crash in Tennessee today. ABC's Marcy Gonzalez explains the crash was a close call.
This plane bursting into flames just after landing in Tennessee.
Yeah, the dude just pulled a baby out of there. It's a private jet.
On board, 5 people, including former NASCAR driver Dale Earnhardt Jr., his wife, and baby.
You know, your first thing when you look at that, I think it's not going to be good. We're very fortunate and blessed that no one was hurt.
The racing legend has seen his share of crashes and close calls through his career, but none like this. The 10-seat Cessna owned by Earnhardt rolling off the end of the runway at Elizabethton Airport, slamming through a fence, ending up here on the side of a highway.
The EMS personnel did put Dale on a cot and take him to the hospital.
Earnhardt's family has a tragic history. His father, Dale Sr., was the most popular driver in the sport when he was killed on the last lap of the Daytona 500 in 2001. Tonight, after this near disaster, Dale Jr.'s sister tweeting, "Everyone is safe." Marcy Gonzalez, ABC News, Los Angeles.
A pilot is doing remarkably well tonight as well after walking away from a crash landing in East County. The single-engine plane went down around 10 o'clock this morning near the Jamul Casino east of the 94. The pilot was the only person on board and appears to be okay. The cause of that crash is also under investigation.
Mayoral candidate and current Assemblyman Todd Gloria has been accused of violating the state's Political Reform Act. A letter sent to the DA and San Diego City Attorney says Gloria solicited and received contributions to his committee before filing a statement of intent to run for the Assembly. The Secretary of State says candidates need to file before raising campaign funds. In a tweet last night, Gloria said, in part, the form filed by my committee yesterday simply corrected an administrative oversight that occurred when the original paperwork was filed months ago.
All right, we have a crime alert tonight. The FBI has sent out some pretty clear surveillance photos of a wanted bank robber. This morning, a man robbed the U.S. Bank inside of Vaughn's on El Cajon Boulevard in Rolando. Now, the man told the teller he had a gun and walked out with a bag full of cash. You're asked to call police or the FBI if you recognize him.
Give me SWAT ASAP. Long gun ASAP. I got an officer shot.
Dramatic new video tonight inside the ambush of Philadelphia police. The barrage of gunfire captured on this Ring door cam. You can see one officer tumbling down from the front steps of the house. Officers grabbed another wounded officer and then rushed him to safety. Police say the man used an AR-15 style weapon. The gunman was a felon and wasn't legally allowed to have firearms. Meantime, those officers are out of the hospital right now and reportedly doing well.
Great news there. An upcoming Israeli trip for Representatives Ilan Omar and Rashida Tlaib is no longer on the table. The The 2 congresswomen are now banned from entering the country. That decision comes just hours after President Trump claimed allowing the congresswomen into Israel would, quote, show great weakness on the part of Israel. Israeli officials said the congresswomen would be denied entry because their intent is to hurt Israel. House Republican Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy said he thought they should be allowed to visit.
In speaking with the president, he knows there are people that have a difference of opinion. I think it'd be healthy for anyone that has that opinion should come just as all these members have.
Representative Omar released a statement calling it an affront, saying Trump's Muslim ban is what Israel is implementing, this time against 2 duly elected members of Congress. California is on track to post a record $3.1 billion in legal pot sales this year. That's according to a study by the sales tracking firm. It makes California the largest legal marijuana market in the entire world. Sales are way up from last year, but California's black market for illegal marijuana, it continues to grow as well. It's expected to bring in over $8 billion, more than double the amount of legal sales.